everyone. How you doing? It's another episode of Shoot the Five with Xavier and Pat DeMoss. We are here. We are live. Hey, Pat, how you feeling, man?
Hey, I'm feeling great. How are you?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm excited. I'm just excited, man. There's been so much going on throughout the couple of days and last week and things like that with regards to combat sports and boxing and MMA, mixed martial arts and things like that. I just wanted to, catch up with you and, get your thoughts on last week's fight card pertaining to PFL as well as UFC. It was a great card on July 19th, Nassau Coliseum, or what they call as the NYCB out here in New York City. Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Great, fantastic fight card by Professional Fighters League. I really enjoyed the fight card. What was your thoughts? What did you see? What did you like?
I tell you what, it was a great card yet again. Not a surprise. A lot of finishes. I want to start with Kevin Tiller. Now,
oh yes, that guy.
Listen, this guy, I believe he fought at middleweight, okay, and then he just put on a whole bunch of weight. Now he's heavyweight, right? His first fight, fantastic KO, okay, in the PFL, great KO. And I watched him filming him leading up to this fight, and I saw that he had some submission wins. And I know Jared Rolshaw, obviously, he's going to go for the takedown. He's a pure wrestler. But I thought, Tiller would struggle with that. I thought, Rolshaw would be the much stronger guy in the clinch, especially on the ground. Would just wear out Tiller. However, Tiller somehow pulls off a submission, guillotine choke, in fact, in the second round against Rolshaw. And he's looking like a real threat in this heavyweight division, which is, one punch can change a fight. And he has both a knockout and a submission now. So that's impressive. Did you see that fight?
Yes, I did. I saw. Actually, the great thing is I got there on time. I got there on time, and I saw a few of the undercards. But I was definitely right there, front and center, right behind the cage. Well, not directly right behind the cage, but I was, ringside press row. And I just love who Kevin Tiller is. Kevin Tiller is, his story, his background, everything, came from. And when he's the mama's boy, and they brought his mother in the ring and she celebrated him. And it was just a fantastic night to see him do what he did. Like you just mentioned, he caught the submission. A lot of people were saying ringside, like you just mentioned, that they were surprised that he was able to pull it off regarding the submission. They actually thought that he would defeat his opponent with a stand-up. But, a big guy like that who came up from, like you said, middleweight to heavyweight, and interviewing him afterwards, he did say that. He said, listen, I'm a middleweight walking around in the heavyweight's body. He's slick, he's smooth. The way he was just able to maneuver in the ring, I do realize that he wanted to get the first round KO, but he was still able to pull up the submission. He got the points. He continues to go forward. In the playoff system. He's definitely one of the top heavyweights in PFL. And like you said, I beat the best heavyweights within PFL. I'm just going to beat everybody. I'm just going to count them down one by one. Whoever's next, I'm going to just go out there and take them out. And I was impressed. I was truly, really impressed to see him do what he did. I also was happy to see Andre Harrison. He had tons of crowd support out there. Like I said, it was in his backyard. He's from Valley Stream, lives in Freeport. He had everybody in the arena screaming his name, Andre, Freeport. He definitely put on a fantastic show. One thing I realized about Andre Harrison, very technically sound, very skilled, and like Ray Sefeso, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name correctly, he said there's more to come. There's more to see about Andre Harrison because he has a lot of skills. And then you also got to look at the fact, and then you also got to look at the fact that him and Lance Palmer, who scored a TKO, knockout or submission rather, they have history. They have history. So that's a great fight to lead up into the playoffs.
Look, so I'm a big fan of Harrison, right? In some ways, he reminds me of George St. Pierre. Like he can go out there and get the job done. He can get a dominant victory. He has good striking, great wrestling. Striking is a little bit, I think if he gets in there as an elite striker, it may throw him some issues, but, we'll see. He's doing a lot of kickboxing right now in terms of training.
Absolutely.
So he's looked great. He's looked great throughout his entire career. He's undefeated. Obviously, he's doing something right. I just worry about this PFL point system maybe on later, maybe not this season, but, he doesn't really get a lot of finishes, and, 3 points here and there, eventually, you may not think it, but, somewhere down the line that could affect him, in the point system. Not right now, obviously. He's one of the top featherweights right now. So, but, like I said, he's definitely going to meet probably Palmer in the finale, or those two will eventually cross paths. I'm not for sure who his next fight is, but I know Lance Palmer also got the submission win. I think it was like a neck crank or something like that.
Yeah. I was ringside right by it.
Brutal.
And the girl Kelly Stiller from MMA, I forgot her brand, but she was definitely like, "Oh, that's a neck crank." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "That's a neck crank." And I was like, "Okay." And he was cranking that neck.
I tell you what, he's a very, very sound guy. Lance Palmer is just one of those guys that just is like just stupid strong. You know what I mean? Like, once he gets you to the ground, if he's gonna wrap you up in a choke, like he just looks like the guy's neck's about to snap in half. It's violent, and I'm excited. For the Palmer Harrison, I'm sure rematch eventually in the PFL. It has to happen. If that fight doesn't happen, I'm gonna be pretty disappointed. But I'm not sure how the lineup goes from here. But yeah. What were you saying?
One thing they was sorry about the ambulance and the police in the background. You hear it. But one thing they were definitely focused on, and what Sugar Ray explained was they had a meeting with the fighters in regards to how great the first card was within Madison Square Garden at the Hula Theater, and how a lot of the fighters really wanted to represent at this fight card, with the points and getting those submissions or knockouts. They really understand the incentive of getting the stoppages to progress them in the rankings and the ratings and things of that nature. And where they are able to, okay, I'm going to match up against this guy, I'm going to match up against that guy. And when the playoffs come, you're fighting two guys in the same night. That's awesome. That's amazing. I am so intrigued behind this because, within mixed martial arts, you see one guy fight one guy, championship fight 5 rounds. You rarely see a guy fight one guy 2 rounds and another guy 3. I truly cannot wait for this.
Yeah. And, moving on here from the PFL, again, great card. I think the next card is August 2nd. By the way, for PFL 5, we have an interview dropping soon with PFL's own Chris Wade. You're one and only right here. Got the interview with him. Really nice guy. Great talent. Excited to see what he can do in his next fight with the PFL. Hopefully he can rack up some big points. But like I said, moving on. Real quick, before we get into UFC on Fox 30, I want to recap just really quick Fight Night 134 that took place just a few days ago. That was in the Barclay Card Arena. I forgot where that was exactly. But Anthony Smith just destroys Shogun Rua in the first round of the main event. Absolutely runs through him. He's got to be a new contender at 205. He's calling out Alexander Gustafsson. It's crazy to think we weren't even talking MMA experts weren't even discussing this guy a year ago even really. And now we're, he's possibly in title contention for the light heavyweight title. It's insane.
Now, Gustafsson fought John Jones, correct?
Shogun Rua?
No, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Okay. Oh, wait, Shogun Rua did fight John Jones way back.
Yes.
And John Jones just destroyed him. John Jones is just on another level. Hopefully we see him back as well. But in the co-main event, real quick, Corey Anderson granted out a decision against Glover Teixeira. He moves on in the rankings. Other than that, not too many exciting fights on that card. It was a decent card, but this weekend is absolutely stacked. I'm talking head to toe. The main event is the rematch between Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier, who fought, I forgot when. It was just recently, maybe a year and a half ago at the latest, I'd say. Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, they're rematching. The first fight ended in a weird no contest. Dustin Poirier was lighting up Alvarez on the feet, and then Alvarez caught him with some illegal knees, hurt Poirier. The fight was declared no contest. They're running it back. It's going to be a worm burn. I mean, it's just going to be an absolute crazy fight. And then in the co-main event, this isn't even the main event. Jose Aldo, if you remember right, famously, fighting Conor McGregor and the long-reigning featherweight champion, is fighting Jeremy Stephens in the co-main event. Jeremy Stephens is on an absolute tear right now, just knocking out everyone in his path violently. It's going to be an interesting matchup because we don't really know where Jose Aldo is right now in this point in his career. He's coming off, 2 TKO losses rather to Max Holloway. The loss to McGregor, it seems to kind of be affecting him at this point in his career. But Jeremy Stephens, always going to come to fight. But I feel like Stephens can get frustrated with the really high-level strikers. So it may be a chess match, and we'll find out. Also on that card is former women's strawweight champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She takes on Tisha Torres. That'll be a really good fight. Canada's own Olivier Aubin-Mercier. I think I say his name. Real tricky name. But he's a super good lightweight. Really coming up in the rankings. Watch out for him as he takes on Alexander Hernandez. The prelim card, I want to mention real quick. I believe it's actually even the early prelims. Yeah, John McDessie and Ross Pearson, lightweight bout. These two guys, I kind of get the feeling, are fighting for their spot in the UFC. They've had their ups and downs, but are on a pretty big. They've been on a pretty big slow as of recently. Both of these guys come to fight every time. They're very entertaining. I would never miss a fight with either one of these guys. But unfortunately, it's the hurt business, and I feel like a loss here for either guy probably gets them close to out the door of the UFC and possibly into another promotion. But it's always tough, but that's the fight game. That's UFC on Fox 30. In terms of the news for the UFC, real quick, Tyron Woodley, the welterweight champion, right?
Yes.
I'm a bit frustrated with the guy.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so
don't say it to him in the face.
Oh no. He's supposed to. He's had this injury for quite some time, right? And he had the surgery. He said he's healthy to fight. Colby Covington wins the interim title. If you don't know who Colby Covington is, interesting character to say the least. In the UFC, they're supposed to meet up and fight, right? Well, apparently now Covington is Covington's out with an injury somehow, and then Darren Till, who is an upcoming prospect in the welterweight division, says he's offered a title fight. I was frustrated with Tyron Woodley. That's what I meant to say. I was just, and then Tyron's like, "Who is this guy?" I'm like, "Come on, like, I just really want to see you back in the cage," because Tyron Woodley's very fun to watch. Absolutely animal. And it's just, I don't want to see, he's like 34. I don't want to see his career wasted with time. But there's a report that Tyron Woodley versus Darren Till is actually close to finalizing in the ink for UFC 228, which is not too far away. So if that fight happens, we're expecting fireworks. The long way to return Tyron Woodley. And Darren Till's a long, rangy striker. But you gotta go with Woodley early on with that fight. Look how he did to Stephen Thompson, But yeah, just that's a good heads up. We should finally see Tyron Woodley back in the cage, hopefully at UFC 228.
Okay, that sounds like a great matchup. It sounds like some good fights lined up on UFC 228. I'm excited. I know I can hear it in your voice. I know you're excited.
Oh yeah. I mean, Tyron Woodley's always entertaining to watch. So anytime he fights, it's kind of a must see for me.
Now let me ask you this: Did you happen to partake and catch the how you say the bouts between Murat Garcia against Alexander Usyk this past weekend for the WBS Super Series Cruiserweight Unification bout?
Listen. I wish I could say I was able to catch him with boxing this weekend. I really tried. I really tried this for you. MMA was popping. It was just absolutely.
I hear that.
But go ahead and tell me about what happened here in this title.
Well, I shall partake and discuss this portion and say that, hey, that was a great fight. I'll tell you one thing. It was actually two great fights taking place on the weekend took place on this past Saturday. Alexander Usyk of Ukraine, who, trains with Vasily Lomachenko, The WBT was the WBO and WBC cruiserweight champion. He was unifying the belts against Garcia, who trains under Abel Sanchez, who's Triple G, Gennady Golovkin's head trainer. And it was a unification bout, WBO, WBC versus the WBA and IBF. And it was a fantastic matchup. The only problem was Garcia didn't really understand and know what to do against the southpaw Usyk. Both of the men came in the ring. They were fresh, ready, looking to score a fantastic win. But it was Usyk who controlled the bout from round 1 to 12. I didn't really give Garcia, a round. However, it was maybe one or two. Yeah, maybe one or two. Off of pure power and aggression. But outside of that, it was a boxing clinic. It was a boxing lesson, hands down. Southpaw Usyk was laying the right hand jab, pop, landed it all day clean, coming with the straight left down the pipe. He was just throwing punches from all different angles and controlled the bout from beginning to end. Thus far, he became the undisputed, in my eyes, the undisputed cruiserweight champion, along with becoming and winning those belts altogether. He also won the coveted Muhammad Ali trophy and the prize money, which I believe was in excess of $2 million. I could be wrong, but I'll double check on that. But at the end of the day, the fact that it was such a great matchup and such a great boxing lesson for other people to look at and say, wow, this guy Usyk, he's a former Olympian, and he was phenomenal. I mean, he looked like a 200-pound Vasily Lomachenko. And I don't know if you ever seen Lomachenko fight, but that's how Usyk looked. He looked phenomenal. He looked phenomenal in the ring against a power puncher who was swinging for the fences and couldn't land out one punch on him. It was just a great fight. Yes, absolutely.
So what was the scorecard? Do you know the official scorecard for this fight?
I will have to double check, but I would say three judges scored the fight for Usyk. That's hands down. He won unanimously. He won unanimously. I don't think any judge gave Garcia more than 2 rounds. Okay. I'll double check and go back to the scorecards, but I just don't see any judge giving Garcia more than 2 rounds because Usyk was that dominant. I mean, the performance he let out, the performance he showcased, exhibited was phenomenal. And then fast forward to HBO's fight with Jaime Munguia, the 154 WBO super welterweight 3 middleweight champion, facing off against Liam Smith, which I was kind of like, okay, here we go again, because Munguia, he dominated Saddam Ali, my God, Saddam Ali, former WBO 154 champion, dominated him, knocked him out within the first 2 or 3 rounds. He fought Liam Smith, who was scheduled to fight Ali previously. However, Smith pulled out for whatever reason, sickness, illness, ended up fighting Munguia. Munguia dominated him, ended up winning a 12-round decision. It is what it is. Now, everyone is hoping that Munguia fights Tara Hurd or maybe one of the I believe it's Jamal Charlo or Janelle Charlo. They're both twins. I always get confused, But the 154-pound champion, Charlo, we'll see what happens with that. Now, fast forward to this weekend, we got a lot of great fights taking place.
Yes, we do.
We got some action. Not only they announced the WBS Super Series from the 140 division, which showcases Regis Prograis, the WBC Super Lightweight Interim Champion, Diamond Bell holder. Now we have other fights taking place with Mikey Garcia, the WBC Lightweight Champion, facing Robert Easter, the IBF Lightweight Champion, and also Dillian White, the WBC silver belt heavyweight champion, facing Joseph Parker, the former WBO heavyweight champion. Now those are going to be some phenomenal fights this weekend.
Now, quick question, Mikey Garcia. We talked about this last week. Who do you have, Easter or Garcia? Has your mind changed any this week?
Yeah. We talked last week, and we're talking again this week. And I think it's going to be a great fight. Right now, my firm belief in my heart of hearts, I think it's just going to be a great fight. We'll see what happens.
No pick.
No pick.
No pick. Okay. Now, there is one division of boxing I do like to keep up with, just because it's very entertaining to watch, and that's, of course, the heavyweight division. I got a couple questions. What is going on with Tyson Fury? Is this guy fighting again? He's talking now about Anthony Joshua.
Yeah. Who else is it?
I mean, there's just like a whole big, mess up top for me. They keep making these mandatory defenses for Joshua and Wilder and all this stuff. I truly just want to see, as not only just,
Joshua Wilder.
Well, yeah, exactly. I just want to see that fight happen.
Everyone wants to see the fight.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to see the fight. But at the end of the day, money pay the bills, so it's, we can all want this and wish that, but, it has to make sense. It makes sense in the mind. It makes sense into the fans' hearts and what they want to see, but it also has to make sense to the fighter as well. So and also, Anthony Joshua is no dummy. He wants to be primed and ready to fight Deontay Wilder. He's basically baiting and waiting Anthony Joshua out. The more fights that he has, the more competition that he fights, the better he'll be prepared to fight Anthony Joshua. To fight Deontay Wilder. There's no fight right now that we know of, that fight fans or media know of, that's taking place with Deontay Wilder. So right now, Deontay Wilder is chilling, relaxing, waiting for an opportunity, while Joshua is preparing to defend his belts against a very dangerous contender in Alexander Povetkin, a former heavyweight champion himself. So, and that's experience against experience. Anthony Joshua, as well as Wilder, they have faced a lot of great opposition, great competition. But right now, Wilder has not faced anyone since his great knockout of Luis Ortiz, which was back, I believe, in January or March. So now you're out the ring, you're touring, you're networking, you're marketing, you're pushing, you're yelling for the fight, but you're not getting the work that you need. So who are you going to fight in between? Because they're slated to put the fight in place in April of next year, April 2019. But between your last fight and then, who are you fighting to continue to get that ring rust off? So that's my thing.
So do you see this fight eventually happening?
Absolutely, the fight is going to happen. Unless Joshua loses to Alexander Povetkin, or if Wilder loses to his next opponent before that fight gets made, the fight is going to happen, hands down.
You think it happens next year?
I believe it happens next year. Like I just mentioned, if Joshua gets through Povetkin,
yeah.
If Wilder gets a fight before that, then yeah, hands down, the fight gets made.
Sweet.
But let me ask you your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Tito Ortiz against Chuck Liddell. Please enlighten me on this.
Okay. It's a lot to take in. So, okay, if you guys don't know, Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz, for whatever reason, are fighting again.
Thank you.
43 years of age for Tito, 48 years old for Chuck Liddell. They had great ventures in the UFC, but Oscar De La Hoya, who for some reason is starting an MMA promotion, he is now signed on Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz to headline the first card in November. It's called Golden Boy Promotions.
What? Is it Golden Boy or Golden Boy? What is it?
Golden Boy Promotions.
MMA. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So it's interesting. This kind of came out of the blue, to be honest. It just kind of was like thrown on us one day. Like, hey, we heard about Chuck Liddell wanting to come back for some time, but all of a sudden it was like, boom, it's in your face. This is happening. And, I have a problem with this because I don't like to see guys take an incredible amount of damage.
Unnecessary damage.
Yeah, exactly. CTE is a very real thing, especially in combat sports, boxing, MMA, all of it. You're going to get a lot of head trauma. For me, it's Chuck Liddell that I really worry about because Tito's been somewhat active. The last mixed martial arts competition for Chuck Liddell was June 12th in 2010. And he got knocked out in the first round by Rich Franklin. Before that, Shogun Hua TKO'd him in the first round. Before that,
Rich Franklin was the ace.
Yes. I mean, he's on a 3-fight losing streak, all by TKO or KO. I mean, it's just a lot of his losses actually. 7 of his 8 losses, he's been finished. 6 of those by KO or TKO. It worries me a bit,
The Rashad Evans knockout was, oh my goodness.
Yes. Put the Iceman to sleep. But Tito Ortiz, not so worried about because, like I said, he's been somewhat active. His last fight was against Chael Sonnen in Bellator. He won by submission in the first round.
Yeah.
So we'll see. In my opinion, should the fight happen? No. Am I going to watch it? Yes. I think every UFC fanboy is going to tune into this fight just to see what happens. Is it going to be a good fight? Probably not. It'll probably be a really slow-paced fight. But we'll see. I'm sure Chuck Liddell still packs the punch. And these guys really don't like each other. So again, if you guys don't know, I mean, they have fought twice before. Chuck Liddell knocking him out both times. So it's interesting.
Might have knocked him out for Jenna Jameson. You never know. Yay! Well, watch Jenna Jameson plenty of times out there. Hey!
Do you agree with this fight, or do you think it's
I actually agree with the fight for the sense that it's from the business standpoint. It's a money marketing fight. You got 2 profile names in the history of the sport of mixed martial arts. It's a great marketing plug. It's great business to let these guys just have one last fight, air out their differences, hug up at the end. Whoever wins, they win. Whoever loses, they lose. At the end of the day, we all walk away. The fans, hopefully the sport itself, and the promotion that Oscar De La Hoya is trying to put together in regards to, engaging in mixed martial arts combat sports on that level. And who knows? We'll see what happens from there. I think it's a good fight. Personally, me, I don't really want to see, like you said, a 40-year-old Chuck Liddell fighting a 45 or 42-3-year-old Tito Ortiz. I think, first of all, who am I to say they should be fighting each other? But then again, I am who I am, so no, I don't want to see them fight each other, but I understand that from the marketing standpoint, to put these 2 guys together, to draw attention, to build up what comes place after. And for that, I approve. For that, I will definitely be tuning in and watching.
It certainly is all about the money in combat sports, so we definitely will tune in anyways. Whatever crazy fights they put together, us as fans will watch. Even though if we don't agree with it, we'll tune in. But that's the game of pretty much every combat sport ever.
So before we go, I just want to throw in the Lopez brothers. My guys in California.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Lopez, Hector Lopez Jr. They are getting ready to fight on August 10th. And I'm very excited. I'm very happy for them because when I met with them, I was saying to myself, why are these guys fighting on separate cards? It really didn't make any sense to me, but I understood from a promotional business standpoint why. But I'm glad to see both of these young men fighting on the same card together. They're like a year apart from each other in age. Adam is 22, I believe, and Hector is 23. And it's great to see both men, both young brothers, fighting on the same card. They're fighting on Roy Jones Boxing Promotions card at the Red Rock in Las Vegas. Their fight is going to be shown on BN Sports. BN Sports, which is a global network digital platform. The fight can be watched all over. Tune in. I'm pretty sure that I know that the link is going to be put out for everybody to watch for the fight card, not only just the fight card, but both young brothers. And I'm really excited about the documentary that Brooklyn Fights and we've been able to put together to really discuss the story, the empowerment story of both brothers. You know, they're fighting not only in their father's name, but they're also fighting to carve their own lane and own niche within the sport of boxing for their own personal careers. So I'm very excited. I'm very happy for both brothers. I love them. You know, they have a great story. Their family is fantastic. I salute Norma as their mother. Maybe I shouldn't put her name out there like that, but she's so beautiful, so humbling, heartwarming. Their trainer, Buddy McGirt, the great Buddy McGirt. You know, they signed with Journeyman Boxing. They train at a, well, maybe I should not tell them, but hey, they train at a Provis boxing gym, so it is what it is. But you know what? I'm just hoping that everybody tunes in, not only to their fight, but also watches the documentary, see how much these young men have put not only into the sport of boxing, but how it's transitioned them from everything that they experienced in life with the loss of their father early in life to reconnecting with their father later on in life to where they're at now with their personal careers.
Yeah, I myself, unfortunately, wasn't able to do any sort of filming or interviewing for this documentary, but I'm genuinely interested in it. It sounds like one of the great stories of boxing. I mean, you gotta love two tales, you know, when two young brothers come together like that, have the same passion, and just grind it out every single day in the gym. It's really motivating, you know, personally, and I think to pretty much everybody. You know, get out there and do what you want and follow your dream. And like you said, you know, the story of their father is also a very good one to look into as well.
Now, we have your article, your piece, your great interview with Chris Wade coming up when?
It should be released sometime this week. It'll be about, again, you know, his upcoming fight, August 2nd. We also discussed, you know, the switch to PFL from UFC. He also talked about the treatment levels of, you know, the higher organization as the UFC to the PFL, how he's treated now. You know, I'll just go ahead and say he said he loves the PFL, great organization. And he has some issues with the UFC, and he discussed all that in our interview. Again, he's a great guy, super nice, and I really enjoyed sitting down and talking to him.
Okay. And for continued support, where can they follow you?
Pat8Lax, LAX, baby, Instagram. You can follow me on there.
There you go. Let them go.
Yeah, you can follow me on there. Yeah, just hit me up. I'll talk about anything. If you ever want to talk about combat sports one-on-one, good to go. You want to debate me on anything, I'd be more than glad to do so. But what can they follow you at, by the way?
Xavier Porter 227 on Twitter, and they can follow me on Instagram at BrooklynFights1. They can continue to follow Brooklyn Fights on Twitter as well as Instagram, and definitely shoot the 5. Make sure you follow us and Brooklyn Fights on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, share button. We'll be on SoundCloud soon enough. We'll be on iTunes soon enough. We'll be all over soon enough. So make sure y'all continue to follow us at Shoot the 5, Brooklyn Fights, Xavier Porter, and Pat8Lax. Did I say it right?
Yeah. Or Pat.
All right. There you go.
Same.
All right.
But we'll be back next Tuesday.
Absolutely.
For our third installment, we will recap boxing. We will recap MMA. We will discuss upcoming MMA and boxing events. Maybe even look into some BJJ tournaments maybe next week if we get around to it. Just depends how this weekend goes, how much action happens, and what we can talk about.
And before you go, what are your thoughts on Floyd at 50?
Woo! Oh man, I tell you what, Floyd Mayweather is hilarious. His Instagram. Did you see his Instagram post about the watch?
I saw 50's Instagram. Well, I see both of us. I see 50 Instagram also. I think that's another conversation. Everybody's feeding off it right now, but yeah.
I think Floyd Mayweather has a little bit more to say over 50 Cent, but that's just me, in terms of the net worth and everything. I think Floyd's got him. But hey, Conor McGregor and 50 Cent were beefing. Now Floyd and 50 are beefing. So I think 50 should just go super fight with one of them, get it over with.
I was going to say that. Thank you for stealing my thoughts, because I actually have an article written, but I'm not going to put it out anymore because you just said it. I had an article in the stash. You had something in the cut? Yeah. I had something in the cut. And I think 50 and Floyd should just might as well get it on. 51-0. Or 50-1. You never know. We'll be back. See y'all next week. Let them know, Pat. See you next week.
Oh, yeah. We will catch you guys in next week, next Tuesday. Same time, same place. Make sure to tune in with a cup of coffee. Stay awake. Get through our podcast. It's a great time.
Shoot the 5. Later.